They want these portable Johns, not nothing inside. They're used to that. They want it to be a completely different. So that is the new approach. What we left, going to the 5-star hotels and one thing, growing up, these people want to go the opposite direction. Okay? I call it the zigzag. And we are right. It's the opposite. For me, it's the opposite of gentrification. Whatever the opposite word of gentrification is, that's what we are doing. Okay? So they're not taking our property. We're taking their money.
Taking their money and making some money off of them in many of the ways that they took our property and, like you said, converted it into high-priced housing that we can't afford. So you're talking about doing the opposite and using the farmland and then charging them a certain amount of money in order to reclaim some of the money that we've lost.
Absolutely. Does that make sense to you? I know it makes sense to me.
Oh, it makes a lot of sense. I can definitely understand that. And like I said, you've always been one that has always tried to find unique ways to get people back involved in business. I remember that you even tried to get people involved in apprenticeship and even learning about the shoe trade and trying to find ways that people could get involved in that. And I think you're even doing that a little bit with your upholstery business where you're trying to have folks learn the trades, because one of the things we've talked about on this show before is the fact that, unfortunately, education, and I know that your daughter-in-law has talked about that in her work on the school board, has talked about the fact that we've gotten away from just like we've fallen for gentrification, we've gotten away from teaching vocational education in our schools. And I know that one of the things that you were very big about and have been big about is the fact that we need to get more of our youth involved in ways to learn these skills, because these are very marketable skills if you learn them, and you can actually make a pretty decent living at it. But I don't even know if you want to be an auto mechanic where you would go to learn that trade these days, since a lot of our schools are not teaching those kind of trades.
Well, I'm going to start our French fried thing again and invite some people in for us to put our heads together. I'm a under the radar type guy. There's a lot of opportunity. Too many people went to college. I stay under the radar. And here's my formula. If you have a profession and you cannot automate it, I don't know how in the world you're going to automate upholstery. The item is too many different shapes and styles. And if you cannot outsource it, you can't ship the sofa all the way to China and have it done and bring it back. It's not cost effective, plus the time frame. So those two things, if you cannot automate it, and if you cannot outsource it, it's going to always be in the hood.
Right.
Okay? And there are so many things. It must be thousands of things that's under the radar, but the intellect is looking above the radar. It's okay to go to college, and if you're an A or B student, well, matter of fact, they don't have enough jobs for the A and B students. So if you're C and D, you don't stand a chance. So you better go under the radar. I'm in the upholstery business. I could hire 5 people right now if they knew upholstery. You can't find them.
Wow.
You can't find them. So these are the things and the intellect, they don't think like that. They want to justify their education, so they're thinking above the radar. I'm under the radar type guy. You can make a good living. We got people at my shop making just as much money as a teacher.
Oh, wow.
Doing upholstery. Under the radar. You can come to me. I don't want you to know nothing, because we encourage people to think through their eyes. You don't need no brain. Just do what you see. Think through your eyes. Think through your eyes, and you could start and finish within one day. So you don't need a memory. Think through your eyes. I don't care how, for the lack of a better word, I don't care how shallow you are. Okay? That's where we are. And I'm going to give you a little secret.
All right.
If you see Roger Brown doing it, it must be something to it. If you want what I got, if you want what I got, you better find out what I do.
I understand.
But I can't come to your house now. You got to come to me.
So you go start those fish fries again and have people come there because you've had quite a few folks in your own family that have been successful from listening to you. Because I know that best I can tell, all of your kids have been successful in one thing or another, whether that's photography or whether that's being business owners or whatever. It seems like all of your kids have been learning from you, or at least learning some of the lessons that you were trying to teach them.
I brought them up in such a way to maintain their lifestyle. They need a lot of money. Because I brought them up in a way that if they want to maintain that lifestyle, they're going to need a lot of money. That's all I got to say. We live good. We live good. We live well.
Yes, y'all have definitely done well living in one of the primary neighborhoods near Central. Near Central has a reputation as being a well-to-do community, and definitely seems like it's doing well, and they have learned the lessons well in terms of following in your footsteps. When you talk to others, what kind of, whether it's people in the rural areas or even people in the city, I know what advice I've heard, but just for folks that are listening, what advice do you give for folks that might be interested in trying to create entrepreneurship opportunities? Because like I said, I've always known you to be an entrepreneur, and now you're looking to do an entrepreneurship in a rural area. So whether it's somebody in Warrenton or North Carolina or Suffolk, Virginia, or down in the low countries of South Carolina or in one of our big cities like Charlotte or Charleston that wants to go into entrepreneurship. Like I said, your background is actually, I believe, in science, but you've been an entrepreneur for many decades now. So for those that want to get into that, what advice would you give them?
We don't ask enough questions. We don't talk enough. We do not ask enough questions because the more questions you ask, the more answers you get. And nothing from nothing leaves nothing. And, if you want to play that role, and of course, practice makes perfect. If you practice being broke, you're going to be broke.
Right.
And don't be afraid of successful people. Okay? You can get what I got. I didn't steal it. I earned it the old-fashioned way. I work hard, and I'm very consistent. So it's very easy. Matter of fact, I wrote a book, Who Got Next is the title of my book, and it's about telling people, about talking to some people who I have helped. Because, you know, I'm a coach, so right. Some of my players were explaining in the book what they've learned from me and what I've learned from them. And how does one fit? That's my next book, if I can get somebody to help me write it, who has the experience. I don't have the experience, but I keep thinking about it. How does one fail in America? That's hard to do. You've got to violate the law in order to fail in America. You've got to. If you just abide by the law, be where you're supposed to be, follow instructions, ain't no way in the world you'll fail in America. Now, it is just that simple. Okay.
And what are some of the rules that your because like you said, you've been coaching for a while. What are some of the rules that your folks have learned from you that you can remember that were in that book? What are some of those rules that folks should live by that you remember from that book? And how does one get the book?
Most of us, when we were 5 years old, most of us know that there are two people in your community that your parents talk about all the time. One of them is a wise person, and one of them is a fool. Okay? It's just that simple. And it has nothing to do with how they look. It was about their character, their behavior. Because you can't go by the way they dress because The guy with the three-piece suit on could be a fool. And the guy with the overall on could be a wise person. So you got to understand the behavior of each. When my kids were small from a distance, I'll ask them when they were 3 or 4 years old, look in the sky, and there will be a buzzard and an eagle flying side by side. But from a distance, you couldn't tell which is which. So we would sit down and get a picture of a buzzard and a picture of an eagle. And I asked them to interview both of them. Okay? They said, Mr. Buzzard, a buzzard is a sad-looking animal. I said, Mr. Buzzard, what's happening? Okay? And they would say, and then I would act like Mr. Buzzard. Well, I ain't had nothing to eat all week, and I can't eat until something dies, and nothing seems to be happening, so I'm hungry, and I'm just waiting. Okay, Mr. Eagle. Oh, he's standing straight up. What's happening? Mr. Eagle said everything. His head is almost 360 degrees. He's looking. And he said, Coach, you want a sandwich? You want a rabbit sandwich or a fish sandwich? And he goes and get one alive. He only eats things that blood is running, and he comes back. Now, I asked him, which one you think you are? According to how you behave or do, what do you? Most of them want to be the eagle.
Right.
Their behavior is like a buzzard. So we conclude that then you're a hybrid. You ain't nothing. You don't know which one you are. You're an eagle. You want to be an eagle, but you're a buzzard. You can't catch nothing. And you don't want to eat nothing dead. So you need to change your behavior.
Right.
And these are the little things right in front of you. And it always amazed me that 3% of the people own 90% of the wealth.
Right.
Now, how in the hell that happened?
Yeah, folks been trying to figure that out for a while. I remember there was a whole movement that was going on several years back, the Occupy movement, where people were talking about that exact fact, that it was a very small percentage that owned most of the wealth, and there's always this talk about trying to redistribute the wealth, even though in this economy, in this world, I don't know that would ever happen in America. I mean, America is a capitalistic society. I don't think that it'll ever become a socialistic society. I mean, it might incorporate some socialistic traits like maybe socialized medicine and stuff like that, but it seems to me that we've always been an economy about folks trying to make their bottom dollar, whatever that bottom dollar is.
Oh, no, you got to earn it. You got to earn it because, you see, I asked, wonder why. Some of these people got more than 24 hours in the day. They tell me no. Are they breathing a different kind of air? They tell me no. They got more eyes and more fingers. They tell me no. Everybody's the same. So what's the difference? We conclude the difference is their plan. It's the plan, man. It's the plan. It is just that simple.
Yeah, because I mean, I know one of the things that we talk about even in the arts world is a lot of times folks are afraid to actually charge for what they're worth because people are always trying to get them to do things for free. We even brought this up on one of our shows when we had one of the artists on recently. But I mean, it seems to me that if the plumber gets paid for his amount of what he does, the artist ought to get paid for his paintings.
But it got to be the plan. Number one, you got to show up. And then after you show up and have the magic, you got to do the work.
Right.
Okay? And on the scripture side, Jesus came so that your life would be more abundant. Wow. You ain't got to be begging for this stuff. He made it for you. But you got to do the work.
Right.
And a lot of people don't know what's the definition of work. Work, the scientific definition of work is force times distance. You can forcefully push on something all day, but if you don't move it, you don't get no distance. Work is 4th time